I've just come in here and I thought, Alan, you'd converted to Hinduism with the old turban on.
No, you said you wanted to do something a bit different on one of my videos. So
Yeah.
I know it's August, but have you been outside today and seen blooming weather?
Yeah,
it's
it's that
chucking
nice.
it down. No, on a serious note, I've got my headwear on, but it isn't my headwear. It's my stockings.
Right.
So, what is it? What's it for? Right, you know we've done, we did a video the other week on this giant hemp what we've been getting, which
Yes.
is some of the best hemp I have ever seen. But unfortunately we have now sold out. And the company that we got it from cannot get none now any more of that hemp until next year. But this little video what I just want to touch on is it's dead simple, but it's we're having a conversation with Dave Harrell the other week about it, and he came up all the way from Rugby to buy some of that hemp off us because it was that good. And he says, thing is, he says, I buy this hemp, and he says I boil it in big quantities. He says, but it takes me ages to. He says, I boil it in a baby Burko. Now, I don't know if everybody knows what a baby Burko is, but basically, if you've ever been to one of these church fetes or to a garden party and that, there's a great big steel flask or kettle, but big round things, probably, I don't know, 3 foot high, be 18-inch wide, and you get your cups of tea, they have hot water in them. So, but they're called baby Burkos, so it's a big posh kettle for what you get your water out of, hot water out of them. But some lads use them for actually boiling hemp in, because when they do it in big quantities. Now, Dave says, I boil my hemp in one of these, he says, but it takes me ages to empty it out with the household sieves.
Yeah.
I says, well, why don't you just cook it in some muslin cloth? And he looked at me a bit gone out as to say, what are you on about? Mm-hmm. But this is something what actually Tommy Pickering showed me this method 35 years ago when I started working for him in his tackle shop. And basically what it is this is our baby Burko for the day. So you get your muslin cloth, it comes on a roll, it's like a stocking, it's what they use for cleaning cars and stuff like that, but it's actually like a stocking. So you can put it on as well if you want, if you're into that kind
Andy Renton's into that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, we're not going down that road because that is another story. But basically, it's a long roll of muslin cloth. So basically, you cut a length off. I just tie a knot in one end.
Yeah.
Like that. Then that goes inside. You've got your water boiling in your baby Burko.
Yeah.
So then you stretch that over the top of your baby Burko.
Okay.
Like that. Then you can get your hemp. So imagine this is a full
big sack.
A big sack of hemp now. Your hemp just gets poured into that. So then you cook it, or if you want to keep checking on it, when it's bubbling, it gets red hot in there. So you don't want to be putting your hand in there. So basically what you can do is you can just lift it all out in one and have a look at it. Once it's cooked, you can just lift it up. It all drains out the water.
Yeah.
Then you have a census bucket or a Van der Nine bucket of cold water at the side of you. You just dunk it straight into that bucket to stop the cooking process. Once you've got it split to exactly how you want it, if you start scooping it out with a ladle or whatever, it can take you up to half an hour, 3/4 an hour, but it's still cooking in the other tub when you're chucking it in. So all it does is, it just makes it dead easy when you're cooking hemp. And we were using that method at our old shop at Tom Pickering Angling Centre 30 odd years ago. So it goes in your baby Burko like that, you put your lid on and it just bubbles away. You can use that cloth then, keep using it, reusing it to cook it. One of them will last you nearly a full season, that piece of cloth there.
What about if you're like me and you cook your hemp in a saucepan?
Well, you still do it.
Right.
You can still use that muslin cloth if you want.
Right.
But the way I do it, and I've done this method for years, is dishcloth.
Ah, alright.
So that was 39 pence
Yeah.
from shop. So all I use, it's the same process, but just on a smaller scale.
Do you have to cut the end off the dishcloth?
Yeah, so all I do is, that's a dishcloth, and obviously inside it you've got a centre part again, similar to the muslin cloth. So all I do is get a pair of scissors at one end, dig it in, make a little hole, and cut along the top on one side, like that. Split it in the middle. You see what I mean, Tom?
Yeah, I see.
All the way across. And this works exactly the same principle. So you're just doing a pint of hemp, aren't you, for match on Sunday on the canal. So you get your dishcloth, you pop it inside your saucepan.
Yeah.
It hangs over ends like that. You get your hemp again.
Yeah.
You just get a handful of hemp. You pop that in there. Your water's bubbling. So when it's ready, instead of having to mess about draining it off with sieves and stuff like that, you just pick it up in your dishcloth and dunk it in some cold water.
Perfect.
So when it's cooking, sometimes with your pans, it's with it bubbling away, and that's very light in material. It can fold in and fall in.
Yeah.
So all I do is I put it over the sides, and when I'm cooking it, I just put my lid on like that on top of my pan. Obviously, that's not the right lid for the pan, but when you just put your pan lid on, it stops it from falling in on itself.
Yeah, and obviously make sure that don't catch fire on the hob.
Yeah, just make sure that don't catch fire on hob. You can even put it over top like that if you wanted to.
That'd
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I use a bigger pan than that anyway. This is just for demonstration. But when it's cooked, you've no fiddling about, messing about with sieves and draining it from one thing to another. You just pick the dishcloth up and dunk it into another bucket of cold water.
Lovely. That's a really good time-saving hack.
Then when you want to, when it's cool, you can just squeeze all the excess water out of it because it acts as a colander anyway. Then.
Got you.
And then you can pop it into a plastic bag or put it into your bake tub or whatever you want for your match next day.
Love it. Love it. So that's a really good time-saving hemp hack. Cheap, yeah, cheap.
Cheap tip.
Hemp hack. That's another good thing to say quick, isn't it?